Hello, 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 everybody. How are you today? Welcome to the den. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the den. Oh, we already have. Hi, my Jamaican mommy. Hey, Kitty, how many rows do you do for a scarf for a child? Like 7 and 6 years old using double crochet. Okay, if you are going from end to end, say the long way, in height, then you're looking at probably about 4 feet long. So whatever it takes to get to 4 feet long. Um, and as far as width is concerned, you're looking at approximately, I would say about 4 inches, actually, maybe um 4 to 6 inches for a child. Yeah, you're down in Georgia. Where's the child? If the child is up north, then you're probably looking at 6 inches or so. So I would keep inches in mind more than rows of stitches, because it depends on your tension. It depends on the type of yarn you're using, what size hook you're using, so pay more attention to the inches. Definitely at least 4 feet for a child, 6 feet for an adult. And if it's an adult over 6 feet, I'd look closer to 7 feet or more. Not that their width is any wider or anything, it's just that most guys that I know like the longer scarves, not necessarily oversized, but yeah, that's awesome. So, first of all, before we go any further, hello everyone. Welcome to Create and Relate. Come on in the den, or should I say this? I know I said a whole lot. I said, hi, family. Come on in the room. My name is Kitteelane, Kitty Lane, and I'm not deaf. I'm hard of hearing, and I talk a lot. Which leads me into okay. Calm myself, get back to where I am. So back to the welcoming. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in the dinner. Hi, y'all. As far as hey, my beautiful sister, how are you? So happy to see you. So, as far as how I feel today, my health meter, I would have to say that it's definitely out of 10. I feel absolutely great today, guys. I really, really do. I got a wake up call from my sister. I had a bed buddy last night, all 4 feet 2 inches of him, 7 years of age. I'm slept with he grandma. Yes. And we did a quiz on YouTube this morning. So yes. And no problem, Jamaican mommy. No problem at all. I told you if I can help you, I'm here for you. Okay, so as far as subscribers are concerned, we had lost two, we got one back. Yay, go us. My watch hours, that's what I've been watching more than anything here lately. Guys, we're finally over 1,500. We are at 1,510. Yes, we are at 15. I did have a beautiful wake up. I woke up to looking at my sister. I did. Sure did. But yes, we are over 15. We're at 1510. And I'm super excited about that. I thought it was going to take longer. I wasn't counting on it taking longer, no. But I just kind of thought that, it might. I don't know. But at any rate, Now, this is Saturday. Saturday, we do our salutations, which we just did. We also do our sips. My sips are almost gone. I just made it an hour ago, and it's still piping hot. That's what I don't understand. I did my 20 ounces of espresso, my pinch of salt, my drip of vanilla. I did 8 ounces of, I think I did 8 Cinnabon and 6 caramel macchiato. That might be reversed, but I did 14 ounces of creamer. And I did, as usual, heat my creamer, and I had hot coffee. So, yes, it's piping hot, but it's there. And of course, I have my water. And the reason it's so little in here is because I got a cup of ice to go with it. I wanted ice cold water because the coffee was so hot. So I've almost had a uh, thing of water this morning. So I am keeping up with my water. But those are my sips. Drop down in the comments what you're sipping on today. I really want to know. Today is setup day. It's going to let us know what we're looking for the week, which is, it makes me happy because my grandson sleeping with me last night made me pull out my board again. So, and this is so much easier to let you all know from here what we have going on. All of this in the bottom is basically for me. I call this my BS line, and no, it's not the BS line. It is the behind the scenes. It's to let me know what I need to do and what we can look forward to from this point forward for a while is uh, on Sundays. You can look for a video sometime before 12 of an ASL phrase. Yes, an ASL phrase. Like I opened up with this morning, you're going to get a phrase that's going to carry you through the week. And then you're also going to get a word of the week. I'm like, WW, what is it? And of course, looking upside down, I'm like, Eminem. You're going to get a word of the week. That's your inspirational word of the week. And like I said, this will be sometime before noon on Sunday. So that's what we can look for on Sundays. On Mondays, or this coming Monday, which will be December 1st, you can look for an ASL word of the week. So you're going to get one ASL word to be working on. Chances are that word will be incorporated into next week's phrase. So we're going to baby feed these, and we're going to do like baby feeding and high school feeding at the same time. And then we're going to go back to our video star of the week. I kind of missed those. I still got a whole list. I have regenerated my list. So when you start seeing those on Monday, some of them may be repeats. It's okay. It's okay. They're there for a reason. Kitty, you can also add more crochet questions when you're doing your live. Thank you. Thank you so much for the feedback. Oh my God, that makes me feel so good. And I will definitely do that. We'll look forward to doing that probably on Thursdays. I will definitely make a note of that. Got it. Thank you so much. Okay, so on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, y'all, is a very special day because your queen of the den will be 62. Yes, December 2nd, the first Tuesday in December, I will be 62. And that will be our first live for December. And of course, our lives for December, and that's our W Day. That's the welcome. That's the Wet My Whistle, the weekly whips, weekly FOs, the whatnots, and the words and phrases, because we're going to go over these words and phrases. Okay. So that's what we have going on Tuesday. And of course, we're going to celebrate. I'm going to see if I can get my daughter to fix, but if not, I got cheesecake in the freezer. So somehow we're going to celebrate with some kind of cake. It's either going to be a cheesecake or a carrot cake or a chocolate cake. I don't know, but it's going to be a cake. And we're going to celebrate. Whew. Okay. So Wednesday, I know you see the KWK. That is the Crochet with Kitty. You can expect that video to come out on Wednesday. On Thursdays, we're back to our live at 12. And while you're doing the questions, you can do a basic stitch tutorial, washcloth as well. Cool. Cool. Definitely. Definitely. Thank you. Thank you. But hold on before we get there, because on Thursdays, I am also, that's kind of like a crochet type day. Yeah, see, that's the come in cup of what? Crochet and chit chat. So, yeah, that's going to be that kind of day. Look at them quick hands. I should be playing basketball. Okay, so on Friday, that is tutorial day. I will put out a tutorial for, who knows, maybe a stitch, maybe an item, maybe part of an item, maybe one of the designs that I came up with. It may also be something related to crochet, like what we're going to talk about today. I am also going to put it in the form of a video and put that out as well. I'm not saying that that's what's going to come this Friday, but I'm giving myself the opportunity to get more into depth. Today will be a quick show of it. And what we do, what I show you when I do put it out on video, will be more in depth. On Saturday, we have our live at 2. That's where we're like wrapping everything up, pulling everything into play. And I'm letting you know, as today, what we have to look forward to the following week. Please don't expect whips and FOs on Saturdays, because most of my crocheting gets done on the weekends. Somehow or another during the week. And I kind of, my sister and I kind of figured out today what it is. During the week, I take my meds. I take them like I'm supposed to. What about the granddaughter's idea? I'm old. Remind me, sis. But I take my medication starting Sunday morning. And shortly after I take my medication, I go to sleep. And every time I take it, I go to sleep. So usually right around Thursday, I conveniently forget to take the happy pill. And I'm awake from Thursday to Sunday when I take the pill again. So most of the finished objects and things generally happen right around that time. I'll say probably starting Wednesday, because the effect of the medication, the strong effect of it, starts to wear off. But it's so unpredictable. Yes, yes, she does have designer ideas, but I will introduce those if they fit what I'm doing. We have to keep in mind she's 10. She's 10. Most of her designer, and don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Most of her designer ideas are built around Barbies. Now, when I ask her for something that I'm crocheting, if this works, if that works, she will definitely tell me yes. And if it's something that she sees of what she already knows that will go together or needs to be taken apart, she'll let me know. She will definitely let me know. But as far as designing something on her own, we're still working with her crocheting. I am amazed at how far she has advanced with that. But we're still working on that, and we're going to get it out there. But yes, this is what our week is going to start looking like. So we have that. Okay. So now that we know what we're going to look for, you said the other day that, yeah, I just read that, didn't I? You said the other day that she has some, she does, and she does. I'm not negating that. I'm not taking away from that. Now, there are a couple of things that I want to talk to you all about as far as pricing our works for those of you who um, sell the works, LOL, her happy pill. And somehow I always call her that happy pill. I'm telling you guys, when I take that pill, I don't care how up I am, how happy I am. What we were trying to do was get it in my system so that it would be even keel. I don't like the fact that it puts me to sleep. And as soon as it starts leveling out, I'm kind of done with sleeping during the day because I've gotten pretty much on a schedule of sleeping at night. And I just feel like most of my time is being thrown away in sleeping. So, every week I declare every Sunday because that's when I take my vitamin D. And I only take it one day a week. So I'm starting out the week taking all the meds together, and I'm declaring that I'm going to go through this week and see it as it mellows out. By Wednesday, I'm done. I am so done with I'm so over it because I'll take them, and it had gotten to the point, and this is how bad it was. I would wait until just before I left the house to go get the kids. So I'm taking medication for the day at 2 o'clock in the evening, you know, and or I would do it just before I had my live. And that way I have my live from 12 to 1. And then from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, I'm taking a nap. I'm going to get the kids, come in, get their snacks ready, and then I'm right back here laying down, and I by Wednesday, I'm sick of sleeping all day. I'm sick of sleeping all day. And I'm grateful that, I've not vomited my feelings, my real feelings on people who tend to uh I'm so sorry. But that I don't, lash out on people that have tapped on those nerves. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about today is, like I said, how to price our work. I ran across a post somewhere where someone was saying that they didn't know how to price their work. Um, Also, in that, I'm going to tell you a story that I read a couple of years ago that was very heartbreaking to me. It really, really angered me. This is why I take happy pills, because I wanted to find the individual that did this to this lady and string them up by their toenails, with fishing hooks. Yes, because it was so unreasonable. Now, what happened was the young lady was commissioned to do a blanket for a family, a husband and wife. And the husband, being so strict and so tight, he wanted to make sure that the hours that were put into the blanket were actually put into the blanket. So he demanded that the young lady sit at his house where he could watch her. He would time her. When she got up to go to the bathroom, the clock would stop. She'd go to the bathroom, come back, and then the time would start again. If she stopped to get a snack or something, he was very unrealistic with the time, and he did this and realized just how much time actually went into making this blanket. And I don't even know if he realized how unreasonable he was in what he demanded. So when she charged the price that she charged, he understood it, but he said that he felt like he wanted to uh, make sure his money went where he didn't want to be paying for someone eating and using the bathroom and all these other things. Well, if you're a corporation, you pay for those things. Really? I mean, if your employee has to go to the bathroom, they have to go to the bathroom. And when they take simple breaks and not lunch, you pay for that too. You got to make sure that they keep their strength up. So I really thought this man was being unrealistic, and I felt so bad for the young woman that was commissioned to do this. So I quickly, kind of in a rush, thought of four ways actually, that we can price our work. We can look at the size of what we've done, take into consideration very quickly what we put into it, and say, boom, baby blankets are, twin size blankets are, which is what I call a base price. King size blankets, and I'm going to use simple amounts. These by no means are amounts that you should charge. I am really, really lowballing this. So please understand. Like, for instance, king size blanket, $100 straight off the top. Bam. Queen size blanket, let's make it 80. Full size blanket, let's say 50. Twin size blanket, 25, and a baby blanket, $10. Okay, so we're going to use those figures just straight off the top. So this is what it is. The reason that doesn't work is because if you get super bulky yarn or the hand knit yarn and you make a king size blanket in a day, just sitting down looking at TV, pulling loops through, you've invested, let's say you do it over the course of 2 movies, you've invested 4 hours. Okay? 4 hours and maybe $100 in material. So you just did your work for free. You paid for $100 worth of material and you did it for free. Is that fair to you? No. So let's ramp it up. Let's charge by the skein, the hank, the cake, the ball. And the way you do that, I learned, and it's not so far off. If you buy a skein, regular price of the skein times 8 usually gives you a fairly decent price. For instance, the old Karen 1 pounds used to be $10 at Michael's and Joann's about 5 or 6 years ago. And you get one of those. One would make a small size blanket. So if you get one of those, then $80. $80 is really, really good. It's more comparable, but keep in mind this is that way you're using labor hours and materials. You're incorporating everything. Another way is by weight. Now, for those of you who own scales, and a lot of you do, I even own a scale. Ask me how to use it. I don't know. You put stuff on it. And I know how to turn it on and off, but this other button, I have no idea what it's for. Nothing up there is written in English. I don't know why I keep getting this stuff that's in foreign languages that I don't know what to do with it. And this, being that it's just a scale, came with nothing. It came in a box that just said what it was. There were no instructions, nothing, absolutely nothing. So I have a lot of things around here like that I don't know what to do with. It doesn't have a QR code. It doesn't have anything. I not even I don't go. I threw the box away, but I don't even know the name of the product. So I can't look it up online and figure out what to do. But if you're weighing it, what you can do is weigh your ball, cake, skein, um, tank at the beginning and see how much it is and determine how much you charge per ounce. How much do you charge per ounce? Let me tell you where the differentials in that lie. Bamboo is heavier than cotton. Worsted, depending on if it's blend or not, sometimes tends to be a little heavier than cotton. Sometimes it's vice versa. So it would depend on the fiber that you're using, because and not just the weight of whatever, or you can charge by the use. Okay, so you got a 10-ounce skein of nylon and acrylic, super soft, super light, super just gorgeousness, squishy, and all that good stuff. And you use about 8 ounces of it. But you can't tell that just by looking at it. So you weigh it out and you realize that you use 8 here again. Are you going to charge by weight, or are you going to charge by, what you charged for the 8 schemes and take away, what is it, 20% of it? You see what I'm saying? So those are two ways. They sound confusing. They're really not. But to me, they're not the most effective way. Of course, to me, the most effective way is the most detailed, but it works. It works. And the reason it works is because it differentiates between stitches, it differentiates between fibers, between hook sizes, but it does involve time to figure out. Okay. My go to hook has become a J. 3 times a year, every year, I time myself. I pick 3 hours out of a week, 1 hour in one morning, 1 hour in one afternoon, and 1 hour in the evening. I will be using my J hook, and chances are I'll pick something that is single crochet, being that is my fastest stitch. And I can do up to 1,800 stitches per hour just doing single crochet. At one point in time, I could do 2,100, but however many, what you want to know is how many stitches per hour can you do? And it involves timing yourself. If you don't want to spend the whole hour timing yourself, do it half hour and multiply it times two. Or do it for 15 minutes and multiply that times four. The only thing about that is that sometimes in the course of that hour, like if you're like me, you zone out and you do a lot more. So after you figure out how many stitches per hour you do, figure out from your project how many stitches it's going to take to do that project. How many stitches is it going to take? If I have a blanket that is 100 stitches across and it's going to be 100 rows high, then that's 100 times 100, which is 10,000 stitches. Now, let's say for the sake of this, I do 2,000 stitches an hour. So in those 10,000 stitches, I would have invested 5 hours. So that's the first part of the equation. How many stitches you do per hour? Yeah, how many stitches you do per hour and how many stitches per product. So you take your product and you divide by your stitches per hour, and that'll give you your labor hours. That's the hours that you've worked on this project. Then you have to determine how much do you charge an hour. How do you charge $10 an hour? Do you charge $20 an hour? You know, are you like advanced and you charge $50 an hour? So, usually I try to keep it right around minimum wage for the state, which ours currently is right around $15. So at $15 an hour for those 5 hours that I put in, that's $75. And if you look at it, if you do a project that's 100 chains across, 100 rows of single crochet. That's approximately $100 worth of work. It's and the reason I came up with 100 because I just told you, let me see, 15 times 5 is 75 plus the materials. You want to add your materials. Okay. So let's say in that three skeins of yarn. So that's $30 added to it. We're basing it on the $10, which I said earlier for the skein. So you're looking at $105. Now let's take it the other way. Let's say we got those same three skeins and we're going to charge $8 a skein. Then of course, 8 times what the skein is. So we just charged a whole bunch of money. We just charged because we used three skeins. Yeah, $240. $240. But it won't take three skeins to make it. But I'm saying so that you can see how it goes. This is why I need more time, where I can really get into each one of them and show how this is working out. But so that you can follow, and if you want to write this down, excuse me one moment, guys. Okay, what you're going to have is your number of stitches per hour. That's when you literally time yourself. And then you're going to need your number of stitches per project. Okay? You're going to need the how much you charge per hour. And then your formula is going to be stitches per project divided by stitches per hour. And that will give you your labor hours. That's your hours of work. So that's your labor hours. And then you're going to multiply your labor hours time what you charge per hour. And that will give you your labor cost. And to that, your labor cost, you're going to add your cost of materials. And that's what you charge. That's what you charge. And to me, that's closer than anything because if I make a scrunchie, by 4 worsted weight, which is what I generally use on a typical, I misplaced my scrunchie bands. On a typical ponytail holder, then I'm going to go around 40 half double crochets, and then I'm going to do 80 double crochets, 160 double crochets, 320 half double crochets. That gives me the real pretty ruffles, which is approximately 600 stitches. Okay? Due to the variation in stitches, then I'm going to go to my chart and see how long it takes me to do these crochets, which ends up being an average of about 1,200 stitches an hour, going back and forth between half double crochet and double crochet. Multiply that, I'm looking at the fact that I have put in work-wise about a half hour times the $15 is $7.50. $7.50 for the scrunchie using the worsted weight. But if I use a super bulky and I go around this band 20 times and then go back around again 40 times, and I have only invested 60 inches, which comes to 0.05 of my time. I mean, and when you multiply that, that's what? 75 cents. 75 cents as opposed to the $7.50. And I really could not see myself charging someone $7.50 for a super bulky ponytail holder. I could not do it. I could not do it. I struggle with the 750 for the regular one. But then when I sit down and I look at the time that I put into it, most of the time I'll take it down to like $6. I'll do something like $6 for one, 750 for, well, $10 for two. Those types of deals I will do. But the reason I say that the formula that I use is the most productive or the most accurate is because of, like I said, tension. Um, how you crochet may differ from how someone else crochets. Whether or not you want to add the cost of materials to it, lots of times I will tell people, if you get the materials, I'll do the project for you, just charging labor or charging you 80% labor or that type of thing. And I don't I don't foresee another method where I could take that kind of approach. Unless I just wanted to do something free and told them get the material, I'll do it, boom. But like I said, these are just some options that you can look into. You may have a better way. I was watching someone a couple of years ago that they had a different weight method. They took the skein and figured out how much was in there, how much they paid for it, and figured out how much it was per ounce. They charged per ounce of use, but this was for materials only. And then they figured out how long it took them to use each ounce. And I was like, oh my God, by the time I figured all of that out, the project would be done. But if it worked for them, it worked for them. You see what I'm saying? So yes, this is something that I really want to expound on a little more. And for those of you who do work on commission or use this as a business, a side hustle, or whatever you use it for, please don't get it. Please don't get discouraged. Please do not get discouraged. Keep pressing forward. Stand on your principles. Stand firm. Stand your ground. Okay? No, we're not in Florida. You know what I mean. I'm talking about on your prices. And don't let people finagle you down to less than your worth, because you know the time and effort you put into your work. Should you be paid for it? Yes. Yes, you should. I understand if you're doing things as gifts or for donation purposes, that's something completely different. That's what you're doing from the bottom of your heart, and not everybody capitalizes on that. Please be able to make the separation and don't feel bad about making that separation. If your husband's co-worker's best friend's niece decides that she wants a scarf because she saw one that you made, by all means, I'd be very interested in making her one. But you need to let her know that this is what it costs for one of my scarves. Oh, well, I thought since you did one for your brother, you would do one for me. I don't know you. And I'm sure you're a very charming person. But time and effort went into this. Arthritis went into this. Carpal tunnel went into this. I had to put gas in my car so that I could get to the store and spend money out of my pocket to get the materials. And then I had to sit down. Strain went into this. Yeah, I had to utilize my insurance for a wellness check for this, just like everybody else. And a lot of people don't look at it from that perspective. They just think that you're that person that put a drip of oil in the machine and push the button and let the machine do the rest. You are the machine. You are the machine. And just like it takes thousands of dollars to operate that machine, it takes money to operate you too, so that you can get these things done. So don't feel bad about charging people for your work. Do not feel bad about charging people from your work. And another way to look at it is, if they had a kiosk set up in the mall where they were selling baseball caps and you sold them that scarf and they didn't want to pay full price for the scarf, then ask them, let me come to the kiosk and get a baseball cap half price. I bet you that's not going to work. Well, let's barter. I give you the scarf, you give me a baseball cap. Give me a Dallas Cowboy baseball cap, and I'll give you the scarf. Uh, see, I got overhead, I got rent, I got blasey, blasey, blasey. I got to do this, I got to do that, and I only get $2 commission off of it. Well, when you take away the fact that I spent 4 hours making this scarf and the materials that I put in, I really made no commission. I didn't charge you profit money. I only charged you what it took to put into this and the cost of the materials. I'm not really, and that's the thing. We're not really making profit off of this. When you put it into perspective, we are not making profit off of this. I don't care how many times people go to markets and say, I sold the first item and that pretty much covered my booth rental. The rest of this was all profit. Okay, let's look at how much you invested into the materials. Let's look at how much gas you used getting back and forth to this venue. Let's look at the amount of body breakdown that you put in setting up this space, just setting up, loading it into your car, unloading it from the car, setting everything up. Look at the amount of food that you had to take while you were making this, because you had to keep your energy up. Look at the amount of water that you went through or whatever you're drinking. And then now let's look at the time, because you have to get paid for your time. You put time and effort into this. Now, when all of that is said and done, tell me how much profit you make. Nobody's typing anything, nobody's saying anything, because generally that's how much profit you actually make. You've not really made anything, you know? And too often that's the bucket, the barrel, the hole, the box that we're expected to stay in. And we're worth so much more. We are. I think we need to set our goals higher than we expect. I ran across two young ladies. I'm not going to say the last word of their title because I don't want YouTube to clip my wings. Um, but I absolutely love these two young ladies. Two sisters knitting, talking, beep, okay? When I first saw them on their very first podcast, one of the sisters said, and no, they're not sisters, they're like best friends. But one of the sisters said that she was making a scarf, I believe. No, she made a hat for Andre 3000, and she made something else for another R&B artist. And I was like, you know what? You know what? And it made me so mad because I was like, I'm gonna make a vest for Jason Momoa. And then when I looked up, he had a crochet vest because all I could think about was him in Frontier. Heartthrob, okay. And I wanted to make him a crochet vest because I felt like he would wear it, and I felt like he would appreciate it. Okay, now what did I say all of this for? Think about it, guys. If I were to actually make a vest for Jason Momoa and say it only took me 2 hours to make that vest, and that's a big man. Okay, he's all kinds of big, fine, and chunky, and just handsomeness all right there. But anyway, if another celebrity saw it and liked it, not even a celebrity, if a fan saw it and liked it, just because he wore it, they would be willing to pay what it's worth. They would be willing to pay what it's worth simply because he was in it. So right now I am working on a project that I've not shown anybody, but for a specific R&B artist. And if I can get this to him, oh my goodness. Yes, guys. Yes, God. I'm wishing on a star. I am. I am. Yes. So wish me well with that. And even if you don't, I'm still going to proceed and go forth and make the best of it. Yes, I am. Okay, guys. Yes, I'm super excited and I'm singing a lot because Tuesday is my birthday. And one of my biggest dreams is to sing a duet with Juan, our very own Juan the Yarn Addict, because I love the way he sings happy birthday to people. And I find myself always sitting here in the background harmonizing with him. And that would just do my heart all the good in the world to get a telephone call from Juan and to harmonize happy birthday with him. And I know that it wouldn't work because even the telephones lag now. But I don't know. Maybe if he could send me an audio clip. I'm looking at my neighbors. Okay. So maybe if he could send me an audio clip and I could do it with that. I don't know. We figure something out, but I would absolutely love that. Heartthrobs of mine that I wish I could do it with Johnny Gill, Christopher Williams, Ralph Tresvant, um, Adele. Hello, it's me. Yes. Yes. Um, Sam Smith. Oh wow. There's so many. There are so many. Anita Baker, Monica, Bonnie from the Eurythmics. Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Yes. Oh my goodness. Pat Benatar. We are young, heartache to heartache. We stand. Cyndi Lauper. Oh, guys, I would have so much fun just singing with these guys. Yes, and gals. Yes. Alicia Keys. Oh, yes, and the list goes on. Rihanna. Rihanna. But yes, I am going to continue today um, building cages for my grandkids. I know that it's coming close to time for me to end this because they're getting a little out of control. But no, we don't have real cages. We have timeout areas where they have to sit in because they tend to growl when they, and I figure they can have their growling moment. If I can purr and growl like a kitten, then they can have their moments. But they have to do it in their little circle. And it's an imaginary boundary, but it works. At any rate, like I said, I'm going to continue to work on what, and I can tell you who it's for. It's for T Pain. I can just see what I'm making for him. I can see him in it, and I can see it being a thing for a while. I can honestly see that. So, yeah, that's what I'm working on. That's who I'm working on it for. But and then with this Josephine Baker story, I said Josephine Baker. With this with this Esther Jones story, oh my goodness, maybe because she was compared to Josephine Baker at one point. But with this Esther Jones story, the baby Esther blanket, um, like what you see, because it's changing. My little design artist and I sat and did some design changing. And Yeah, it's definitely it's going to change. Not simply because she said so, but we pulled out some components. We did some things, we worked some things out. And she was like, this looks really cute, but not like perfect. So this is where I do use the 10-year-olds input. So we got some things on the back burner as far as this is concerned. And yeah, I don't know if I showed y'all the new thing that I started. I don't think I did because I just started it day before yesterday. Y'all, I didn't even yesterday. Yesterday I didn't even put 1,000 stitches into crocheting. I will show you next week what I made yesterday, but this is what I started day before yesterday. And what I'm using is this rainbowy yarn, and I'm running it with solid colors in the back. I think my next colorway is, it's kind of wedged in here, sorry, is this tan. So we're going to go with that tan. I'm going to kind of bleach my way up to an off-white or a white, and then we're going to go back down in colors. So I did the black, I did the brown, and then from here we're going to go, like I said, lighter there. And then we're going to go a little lighter from there. I think this was 7 inches at the widest point, and I wanted it to be, I think it was, see why I keep the tape measure close by. Okay, so we're looking at 45 inches. This is 7 inches. So 6 times what we have would be a 42 by 45. That's not bad. So I'm looking at doing 2, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 more sets of what I have. Well, 6 more sets of 13 actually. Yeah, so not bad, about 78 more rows or so. We can do that. We can definitely do that. And I know that this will hold up because I have another ball of this. Okay, guys, I'm not going to continue to hold you up. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. I appreciate you so, so, so much. The cardigans are due in by Monday night midnight. If you participated in the Just For Me cardigan, I will be showing off my cardigan on Tuesday. Yes, I will. I think she's over there. But I will be showing you the completed cardigan on Tuesday. If you have not completed your cardigan, please don't feel bad. Do not feel bad. Life happens. Okay, and we all crochet at different speeds and different rates. We were using all sorts of different materials. It's just the camaraderie of us pulling together and doing something in unison. So don't feel bad about that at all. I do know that Laurie has finished hers and she has sent me the pictures, and they're absolutely amazing. So I will be showing those on December 2nd. And like I said, I have finished mine. I know Marsha started pulling hers loose. The originator of the Just For Me cardigan. Go on now. But seriously, don't feel bad at all. You know, it's life, and that's what happens in life. And we need to give ourselves more grace. We don't need to keep beating ourselves up. So look forward to the changes that are coming up on the channel. I hope that you've let a little bit of pricing my work sink in for you today, and that we have a little bit of grip on how to price our work. And no matter what method you choose, you always choose what's best for you. Choose what works for you. But always in that, remember, do not sell yourself short. Okay? Please don't sell yourself short. Do not sell yourself short because you are valuable. Okay? And keep that in mind. Please keep that in mind. With all of that being said, I want you all to remember to be bold, be brave, be beautiful, and behave. Remember, Kitty Lane told you. Remember, Kitty Lane loves you. So until we see each other again on these YouTube streets, peace out, everybody.